Okay, so it seems like recently there's been a little bit of an update on the whole Lucy Pyre situation. Now, if you don't know, in the last video, we covered a post made by Powdur, essentially talking about Lucy Pyre and saying, never thought I'd be called a grifter by Lucy Pyre. You're mad, you're mad people are calling you lean woke because they don't know your political position, instead of calling me a grifter because you don't like my politics. How about you just leave me alone, dude? Now, of course, this was a pretty odd post for some people because it wasn't backed up with much proof or evidence of this happening, but it seems like Powdur has actually kind of responded with the proof, and yeah, I mean, it is pretty, obvious now. But obviously, it didn't really help out the fact that this was the post that she put up, essentially one of a clip of, Lucy Pyre saying, like, it's not a good idea to be political. I'll just play it again if you guys want to hear it.
I just want to let you know, don't do politics.
Don't do politics, that's what she said.
About politics, maybe Lucy shouldn't even be talking about politics as much as, I guess she kind of sort of is maybe a little bit right now. But don't do it. Don't do it. Like making a couple...
So, yeah, obviously, that's the clip that she posted. And obviously, a lot of people were like, well, I don't know. I haven't seen any proof or anything like this. So, I don't really know, whether this is real or whether this is just something that maybe... Powdur just didn't really know about. But it seems like Powdur actually followed up with another post with something a little bit different. Instead of Google Docs now, we're now getting Google Drives or Google Videos, or I don't even know what do you want to call it. But again, obviously it says on stream 20th of February, deleted VOD. Lucy was reviewing Flabberjiggle's list, included me. She wanted some people labeled chud to be labeled grifter instead. When asked not to vague about who is a grifter, she references my 2024 design controversy and lost traction, and the lost traction narrative around it. Given that that sequence and her specificity as it was plainly referring to me. And as for the accusation of grifter in 2025, I made one political comment, received tremendous backlash, and decided I wasn't going to filter myself anymore. Growth followed exposure, not a calculated pivot. Political commentary in the space often narrows your audience and carries real risk. It's not an obvious strategy for growing an audience. Here is 15 minutes of unedited from her stream, and obviously they got a little timestamps here. So 7:14 she talks about adding a grifter, and then 8:50 she goes on to talk about Powdur, which we'll look at the Powdur part where she speaks about it. So here it is.
Can we start naming names? You don't like it when I vague post? There's this one VTuber who, I forget the name, but I remember, first hearing about this VTuber because she got really mad at another VTuber, for like copying her design. But I believe her design was something very generic and very basic. That it'd be like me getting mad at another VTuber for having white hair and demon horns. That'd be like me like going to them and being like, you're fucking copying me because you have white hair and demon horns. That'd probably be what that is. And, they kind of lost traction after that drama because people thought it was, like, kind of cringe. But then they started grifting. It's really fucking obvious when it's that. I feel like you see this once a month. I feel like you do see this once a month. At least when it comes to VTubers accusing other VTubers of, like, copying them. Yes, you do see it once a month. Mm-hmm. Does she have any idea how little this narrows it down? This just goes to show you how fucking common it is, man. It just fucking goes to show you how common it is. 90% of the VTubers starting shit are just VTweeters that never stream. This is true. This is true. But, streaming's not everything, guys. Streaming's not everything. If you're a VTuber hopeful right here, right now, I just want to let you know, don't do politics. Don't talk about politics. Maybe Lucy shouldn't even be talking about politics as much as, I guess she kind of sort of is maybe a little bit right now. But don't do it. Don't do it. Like making a couple jokes here and there is fine. Don't do politics. It's such a bad idea. I mean, unless that's your thing, unless you want to talk about it 24/7 all the time, don't do politics, because if you talk about it even a single time in like very concrete terms, then that's what people are going to expect from you, and they're going to push you further and further and further into that territory, and then you will be locked into having that audience and nothing else. Okay?
Okay. Actually, hearing this part of the don't do politics, I actually agree with her a lot more. But in terms of the going after Powdur, though, it definitely is also much more obvious. So that's changed two things, saying the full context. I think with the first clip about her saying, if you're a VTuber, don't do politics, I think it actually sounds much better, because she says, unless you want to do it 24/7 all the time, which, again, I think that's fine, right? Obviously, and she's just telling VTubers, hey, you know, you're gonna get into this situation if you end up speaking about politics, and that's it, right? That's gonna have to be your whole thing now. Like, if you're not prepared to handle what kind of comes with speaking about politics on as a VTuber, then don't speak about it at all, which honestly I do think actually is a good thing. It made it seem like she was trying to tell people what to do and what not to do beforehand, but again, obviously the part before though, it definitely, yeah, sounds like she's just calling Powdur a grifter, obviously mentioning her specific situation, obviously, as she says, and you know, saying that she essentially switched to grifting. So again, there is a lot of proof behind that now. There is a lot of proof behind this actually happening. This isn't you know, one of these cases where you know, it's necessarily just out of thin air anymore, because of course a lot of people were very skeptical about this original post because there wasn't really much video evidence, right? And obviously that was due to the fact that there was no VOD and stuff that was taken down, but thankfully, you know, she managed to get it back up and stuff. And obviously she says the 2025 comment, you know, I'm referencing, saying that, you know, she made one political comment saying, I don't trust that much will change under Trump, but he is quite amusing to watch. Obviously, apparently this is the one that kind of just set her off, right? Said she has no idea what she's talking about. If it was in Lamau, you know, Talum, Sherlock Powdur in action, said, oh, she's not calling you a grifter in the leftist way. That just means people on the right. She genuinely believed you were grifting, which is obviously a bad faith interpretation. This isn't political drama. This is normal woman drama, which I think is interesting. They say, okay, my question has been answered. Still gains such increased bubble size again, 10 out of 10 read, which again, it seems like a lot of people were waiting for this kind of proof, because even people, you know, who like Powdur are like, okay, you know, I can understand why this would happen, but I haven't seen any proof yet. And obviously the proof has been given. So, you know, everybody's like, oh, okay, there we go. That makes sense now. Thanks for the extra kind of stuff. Now, obviously there's, you know, people going after Arundel as well over her tweet, covering it, saying like, this is a huge stretch. You're the only one who brought attention to this with nothing showing that she ever mentioned you. Maybe you should do the same thing you asked, saying like, leave her alone, essentially leave Lucy Pyre alone. But I'm gonna be honest, this looks even worse now with the extra context, and I'm sure that Arundel didn't exactly fully mean it or anything like that. I think that obviously at the time there wasn't much evidence, but I think with the extra evidence that we have now, it is more so, should Lucy Pyre leave Powdur alone, right? Because she was the one who brought her up on stream first, and it seems like, yeah, no, I don't think it is one of the cases of, you know, Powdur just randomly bringing her up just to kind of farm attention or clout or whatever. I think it is genuinely, you know, Lucy brought her up on stream and now she's essentially responding to her, which I think, to be honest, you know, that's fair enough. If someone brings you up on stream and talks about you and says that you're grifting, I think you have every right to go ahead and, you know, respond to it wherever you want on Twitter or whatever. I think, you know, obviously it was just the initial post that maybe made people a little bit confused or whatever. But now that we have the all-rounded kind of proof and everything, I think it makes a lot more sense, and it makes a lot more, you know, it's feasible as to why she's responded so, you know, publicly and stuff like that to all of this kind of stuff. And yeah, you know, it makes sense, right? I see a lot of people saying Arundel just mindlessly repeats the positions of whatever person she likes to do investigations. People going after Arundel, who said, for anyone that didn't understand what Lucy did, she talked bad about Powdur by repeating Twitter points, and when Powdur responded, she deleted the VOD, so people got upset at Powdur for lying and saying it never happened. Now, again, you know, obviously in my video, I never said she was lying. I said that, you know, I think that, you know, it's an interesting thing, but we hadn't had any proof, but now we've had the proof, you know, it's kind of just undeniable now. So yeah, obviously it is pretty obvious. They're saying disgusting behavior by Lucy to make someone go through that. So Spirity is saying, well, this tweet didn't age well. Now that Powdur dropped proof, it's funny watching Arundel ask for proof in her tweet. But when people wanted her to just do a better job reporting drama with Asmongold, she completely crashed out because, God forbid, she shows context and clips like the proof. So yeah, a lot more people just angry at Arundel at the moment rather than the actual kind of, you know, situation at hand between Powdur and you know, and Lucy, right? But at the end of the day, I think it is, yeah, obviously Powdur has every right to defend herself and every right to make a post about this, because Lucy was the one that called her out first on stream. As we saw in that clip, she was the one who mentioned her and her situation, and it is very clear that she is talking about her. Now, obviously, some people may still argue, oh, she didn't say her name, But I'm going to be honest, I don't think that really matters at that point. It's so specific in terms of what exact situation she was talking about. So again, I do think that, you know, just says quite a bit, right? But yeah, I do think it is a pretty interesting one, right? And even then, I think that, you know, some people are allowed to talk about other VTubers on platforms, but I'm going to be honest, right? You know, I think Powdur at the same time is also allowed to defend herself in that respect. And yeah, obviously it seems like she has done with all of this kind of stuff going on at the moment. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, because again, I do think it's a very interesting situation. It is good that we have had a little bit more proof behind this now. So again, it seems like things have been working out for Powdur. And yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kazza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely come and check it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.